Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome to the session of Force Therapeutic Nutrition. This is the third module, that is etiology, clinical features, and nutritional management of gastrointestinal tract disorders. This is the second lecture in which we shall be studying about nutritional management of constipation. I am Dr. Jaspreet Kaur, presently working as Assistant Professor in Government College for Girls, Ludhiana, Punjab, affiliated to Punjab University, Chandigarh. And this project is funded by DTH Swayam Prabha, MHRD, New Delhi. In the last lecture, we had studied about the nutritional management during diarrhea. And in this lecture, we shall be studying about etiology, clinical features, and nutritional management of constipation. Under normal conditions, the food residue eaten one morning will reach the large bowel the following morning, and the defecation takes place normally between 12 to 72 hours after taking the food. Most people, they have daily bowel movement, but for some evacuation after 2 to 3 days is also normal. We all understand how important is the regularity of elimination according to what we are used to. What happens when this normalcy is disturbed? The irregularity in evacuation extended over a period of time that leads to constipation. It's a very common digestive complaint throughout the world. Let's understand the meaning of term constipation. Constipation, it is the retention of feces in the colon beyond the normal length of emptying time. And it is passage of firm or hard pellet-like stools at infrequent and long intervals with difficulty to expel. It is a condition of stasis in the large intestine. There is a blockade kind of feeling. And again, just like diarrhea, it is a symptom, not a disease. Let us study what are the different types of constipation. Constipation can be atonic or it can be spastic. Atonic constipation is the most common type of a constipation, and it is also called lazy bowel syndrome. Here the intestinal walls, they lack muscle tone, so peristaltic action is impaired and the food mass is not able to pass at a normal rate down the digestive tract. Here the bacterial action may be greatly increased because of the stagnation of the food in the colon, and it will cause various symptoms associated with the constipation. Now let us discuss what are the causes of constipation. It could be improper lifestyle. When we have faulty dietary habit, which includes irregular hours of meals, fasting, or avoiding some food, and which leaves little residue for evacuation. Then it could be insufficient bulk in the food when we are taking too much of refined food. Then insufficient fluids. Then poor personal hygiene. Once we have irregular eating habits, irregular bowel habits due to getting up late in the morning or unhygienic conditions prevailing, they make a visit to the bathroom undesirable. So such conditions, they can cause constipation. And then lack of exercise, that will also decrease the muscle tone of our intestines, leading to constipation. Certain kind of chronic illnesses that cause pain, for example, painful fissures or hemorrhoids, they can also cause constipation. During pregnancy, it can cause constipation because of action of certain hormones. Then some emotional disturbances such as tension, depression, anxiety, or excitement, all these emotional disturbances, they can cause temporary constipation. Then excessive use of laxatives is another important cause. Similarly, certain organic diseases such as diverticulosis or colon cancer, all these things, they can cause atonic constipation. Now let us see what is the other type of constipation, that is spastic constipation. This spastic constipation, it is characterized by increase or decrease in the muscle tone. It will lead to the narrowing of the colon and the forward movement of the feces through the colon, it is retarded. As the name suggests, this colon is irritated and it will cause lot of pain and spasm. That is why it is known as spastic constipation. Now let us see what are the main causes of spastic constipation. Just like atonic constipation, inactivity, immobility can lead to this spastic constipation. Then chronic users of laxatives, people who take too many spices, tea, coffee or bran, they can actually get their colon irritated. And people who are taking inadequate diet and whose dietary habits, they are not normal, which can irritate the intestines. And then irritation to the intestinal mucosa can also occur through excessive use of alcohol. So even the alcoholics, they can get the spastic constipation. Then ingestion of some kind of medicines, such as people who are taking painkillers for a longer duration of time, and then certain antibiotics, they actually irritate the intestinal mucosa and that leads to spastic constipation. And then highly nervous people, just like it can lead to diarrhea, similarly in some people it can lead to constipation. And then in some cases, if there is some kind of obstruction, here the passage of the food through the colon, that will be disturbed because of some kind of obstruction, which can be because of some cancer or some kind of other growth which stops the passage of stools. Along with these causes, there are some other causes which can cause constipation. For example, it is also found in formula-fed infants, where the formula is very concentrated, or when the mother weans the child off from her breast milk and new type of food is introduced. This can be too concentrated for the intestines of a child, and that can lead to constipation. Then some emotional issues over toilet training, they can also lead to constipation, especially amongst these little children. Just like small kids, old people, they also have some issues where the neuromuscular reflexes, they are impaired, and that leads to weakness of the muscle tone of the intestines. You must have come across similar situation in your family where the family elders, they are having similar issues. Now let us see what are the symptoms we feel when we are constipated. It is general malaise. You feel weak, you feel lightheaded. And when constipation continues for a longer period of time, it can really cause big headache. And then there could be foul breath and tongue could be coated. Then a person may feel cramps and bloating can occur because the routine movement of the flatus and the food is not happening. And then you do not feel like eating anything. And lack of appetite is again one big symptom of constipation. And then chronic constipation, if that occurs, it can lead to hemorrhoids, fissures can occur, and then even rectal bleeding can occur, or rectal hernia or prolapse can occur. So now let us discuss how to manage this condition with the help of nutritional therapy. So the dietary management objectives are: first thing is to develop regularity of habit of evacuation. So this is the first and foremost thing. And second is follow a regular meal pattern, so that the eating excess or going for fast, these irregularities, they are to be taken care of. And then consuming a high fiber diet is recommended. And it is important to ensure that adequate intake of fluids is maintained, and increase in exercise and activity is suggested. So the nutritional management, here we are going to discuss three F's of management. So these are fiber, fats, and fluids. So dietary fiber, it is a part of food that our digestive tract cannot digest. It is found in foods of plant origin, grains, cereal, fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, and seeds. It is of two types, that is insoluble fiber and soluble fiber. Insoluble fiber, or the roughage, it is a chewy outer skin and seeds of the fruits and vegetables and grains. It adds to the bulk, creating larger and softer stools. When we talk about dietary fiber, an important factor which is responsible for its role is the water holding capacity of the fiber. The coarse bran, for example, has a capacity of holding 6 gram of water per gram of fiber. But if we use a fine bran, it can hold approximately 2 to 3 grams per gram of fiber. So, owing to water holding capacity of the fiber, they will be able to decrease the colonic transit time. That means the food will move faster through the colon, and there will be less time for the colon to reabsorb large amount of water, and thereby causing constipation. So secondly, it will help in proliferation of microflora in our colon, and it will help in proliferation of mucosal cells also. And then it will increase the fecal volume, so the stools, they will be easier to pass. And then frequency of defecation also increases if we are taking more soluble and insoluble fiber in our diet. So how much fiber should be taken? 25 to 40 grams per day is the suggested amount of fiber. And lot of fiber comes from natural fresh foods like vegetable or fruits. And secondly, we can also take fiber from some packed sources, and we'll come to know the amount of fiber contained in a packet once we read the label. So it's very important to understand, if we are taking a product which says it contains high fiber value, we should be confirming it from the label only. And then it is advisable that we take 5 to 7 servings of fruits and vegetables, where we can go for minimum 2 fruits in a day, and then three type of vegetables which could be raw or cooked. Raw vegetables could be in the form of salads, and cooked vegetables could be in the form of soups, or it could be in the form of other vegetables or green leafy vegetables. And then along with that, 5 servings of whole grain, they can be taken to ensure that this RDA of fiber is properly met. So, as we say, it is important to include fruits and vegetables in large quantities. Low fiber foods such as processed, ready to eat foods, which are made from the refined carbohydrates, they should be avoided. But during the spastic constipation or obstruction of colon because of some cancer or inflammation, we have to restrict fiber as the colon is already inflamed, and giving high fiber diet can actually aggravate the condition. Hence, in spastic constipation, it is important to remember that we may have to eliminate the insoluble fibers entirely, and only some amount of soluble fibers that can be recommended. So we cannot generalize that the high fiber diet is recommended in all types of constipation. We can increase the fiber content of our diet by using whole grains or using whole legumes, beans, seeds. Here, another tip is we can always use sprouted legumes to improve the fiber content further. And we can use the unsaved flour for making the dough when we are about to make the chapatis, so that the fiber is retained in the flour. And then we can use unpolished rice, and we can consume unstrained soups, and gradually we should be improving the fiber content in our diet, because our body will be able to get used to high quantity of the fiber. Otherwise, increasing the amount of fiber in diet abruptly, that can cause bloating, and lot of abdominal discomfort can also occur. So along with other food items such as fruits, vegetable, whole grains, seeds, nuts, we can always improve the fiber content with the help of some kind of fibers such as bran, which can be added to the flour and other preparations. And then we can always have psyllium husk, which can increase the soluble fiber content in our diet. And then prawns and prawn juices, they can be included as they are known to stimulate the intestinal motility, and they are actually beneficial in preventing and treating some chronic constipation. So the second type of F is fats. Fat containing foods, they are actually useful in this condition as they have a lubricating effect. And we can take these in the form of some emulsified fats, such as we can include eggs or butter in our diet. But it is important to avoid the fried foods, because they will be irritating the intestines, and eventually they can deteriorate the condition. And along with the other good qualities of fat, some fatty acids, they have some stimulating action on the mucous membrane, and they can actually help us in relieving the constipation. The third F of the dietary management is fluids. It is advisable to drink a plenty of water to soften the stools. And a person should take around 10 to 12 glasses daily. And along with that, it is advised that warm water with lemon juice taken early in the morning, that stimulates the gastrocolic reflex, and it helps to ease constipation. Here it is important to recommend that alcoholic beverages, tea, coffee, and carbonated beverages should be avoided because they are all dehydrating fluids and eventually they can be a cause of constipation. Along with dietary modifications, it is important that a person is physically active because exercise or of any kind or the physical activity will keep the bowels moving and it will help in managing the constipation. It is advisable that 30 minutes of brisk walking or any kind of physical activity which matches with the walking 3-4 times a week is really beneficial while managing constipation. Now let us see how we can prevent and manage constipation. So, the constipation can be managed well when we go for regular toilet training of children because our habits they are formed when we are very young. So, proper toilet training and sticking to normal time, sticking to the routine of the evacuation that really prevents the constipation and helps us in managing it in a better way. So we know that how important it is to have plenty of water in a diet to prevent and manage constipation. So here we can take soups, we can take juices, and then we can go for some very good kind of beverages such as lemonade. Then we can take lassi or we can take shikanji as we have already discussed. And again, it is very important that we should avoid carbonated beverages, alcoholic beverages, or caffeine containing beverages such as tea or coffee because they are dehydrating fluids. And then dietary fiber, whole grains, fruits, all kind of vegetables, they can actually provide ample fiber and lead to good health and it will prevent the constipation. And then exercise, as we have discussed, it is a very good thing. And it is important to manage stress because stress also causes constipation. So in chronic constipation, instead of going for mineral oils, it is advisable that a person goes for some inert laxatives such as psyllium husk, we call it isabgol, or china grass. They are very good inert laxatives and they will eventually smoothen the stools. Let's summarize what we have learned in this lecture. We have learned about constipation that it is retention of feces in the colon beyond the normal length of emptying time and passage of firm, hard pellet-like stools at infrequent and long intervals can be felt along with difficulty to expel. And then we studied that it is a condition of stasis of the large intestine and it is a symptom, not a disease. Constipation, it is of two types, that is atonic and spastic constipation. And in atonic constipation, the intestinal walls, they lack the muscular tone. So the peristaltic action is impaired and the food mass is not able to pass at a normal pace down the digestive tract. The spastic constipation is characterized by increased muscle tone and there will be narrowing of the colon and the forward movement of the feces is retarded. The colon here is irritated and the important cause of constipation include faulty dietary habits and then excessive use of laxatives, certain kind of medicines, then lack of exercise, emotional disturbances, then certain diseased condition and faulty toilet training can be another reason. And then we studied the objectives of management of constipation. They are to develop regularity of habits of evacuation. This is very important, especially for children who are to develop good evacuation habits so that once a good habit is formed, they will be able to take it further. And it is more important for children who are starting their formal schooling, because adjusting to the time of the school is very important. And second is to follow a regular meal pattern so that regularity of the bowel movement is developed. And then consuming high fiber diet and adjusting the fiber content is important if there is spastic constipation. And then ensuring an adequate intake of fluids but avoiding alcohol, carbonated and caffeinated beverages. And then increasing exercise and activity, it is very important so that our bowel activity is there. And then along with diet, we studied that stress coping strategies can be actually helpful in preventing and managing constipation. So it is important to be lighter inside out. Thank you.